Quinlan. Now, Jason is 19-8. He did lose his last fight. In fact, he lost the last fight by a knockout again. So that was the second loss in 3 fights by knockout. He is 5'10". He gives up 2 inches of height to Josh Quinlan. The weight will be the same, it's 170. The reach, he does give up another 2 inches in reach advantage, and I don't understand the point of putting leg reach. I never did understand that. Now, Josh Quinlan, his record really is 5-0. He's making his debut for the UFC. He did fight on the Contender Series, but that was overturned. So he's 6 feet, got the 2 inches of height. He'll be fighting at 170, and he'll have 2 inches of reach advantage. And again, back to the leg reach thing, I don't understand why they put it up there. He ain't gonna be using no legs, no way. This is gonna be straight hands. If you ever seen him fight, you know what I'm saying. Now, this fight is interesting because Jason is a good wrestler with good cardio, but the striking, it ain't even so much the striking, it's just if he gets hit clean, that's probably the end of the fight.
And that's the issue, because when he fought Philip Rowe, he actually was winning the fight. He was taking him down, he was controlling him. He got caught, got knocked out.
Now, Philip Rowe, his striking has been looking better lately, and he does have a lot of reach. You think that may be factored into it?
He's just a better striker.
Well, if that was the case, then he really got some problems because Josh Quinlan got some quitters. When I'm talking about you hit somebody, and you know the saying, lights out. Now, this is really lights out. Like, if he hits you with the most basic of punches, every punch that he throw in got to be a knockout punch.
He kind of like a young Robbie Lawyer. When Robbie first came to the UFC,
yes,
that's who he remind me of.
That does make sense.
Okay, Robbie used to walk people down and just haymaker, haymaker, haymaker.
And this dude, he keep his hands up high, almost like he in a street fight. It's so odd because he's strong enough to defend the takedowns. So, because he's a strong guy. So, but though that takedown defense will be tested against Jason Witt because Jason only has one way to win this fight.
And Jason's striking defense is some of the worst. When he fought Brian Barberena, he had this thing he did when he would circle around, he would just spin, and he would just turn his head to the side, and he was just uncomfortable. He's extremely uncomfortable in striking exchanges.
But, oh my Lord have mercy. Significant strikes. Have you ever seen a number like this?
No, I haven't. It's a small sample size.
It's a small sample size, but if you take a small sample size from most people, are you going to get a number like this? No.
Yeah, Josh, he lands 16.6 significant strikes per minute, and it might go up when he fight against Jason. He's going to land more than that.
This might be kind of brutal here. But and let me tell you something. I know Matthew Semelsberger has a lot of knockout power, but there's just not a real justification for getting knocked out in 16 seconds. Especially when you've been in the UFC for, you had at least 2 fights. But no, he lost to Takashi Sato but in 48 seconds.
Takashi got some power too.
I know, but if you keep running the people with power and getting put away real quick, how can people have faith that this will be the fight that you fight somebody with knockout power and you don't get put away in 30 seconds? I gotta go with Josh here. Now, one thing is, I'm not sleeping on Jason. I know how tough he is. I saw his wins. I saw the Brian Barberena fight. I saw the Cole Williams fight. I know what he can do once he get the fight to the ground. But I don't think he's gonna be able to get the fight to the ground here. I just don't see it. Maybe if he can get the fight going later on. See, a good strategy would be to take the fight into deep waters and take over. But didn't you do that against Philip Rowe and you got knocked out? I can see him winning, but out of 10 times, I give him 1 or 2 times to beat Josh. And I give Josh the other 8. I'm going with Josh here by knockout.
Jason, his striking not good enough to mix it up with the wrestling to set up takedowns. Your striking, see, a lot of fighters, they think, and I'm not an expert, I'm not a fighter or anything, but a lot of fighters think, okay, if I got just good wrestling, great wrestling, it's good enough to get a takedown. Sometimes you got to mix it up with the striking. Because some of the guys, even Chris Weidman, he was good at that. Just mixing up the decent striking, mix it up just good enough to get a takedown.
Because you don't need phenomenal striking as a wrestler. It just needs to be good enough. You could argue GSP had the most basic striking. You can make that argument. Jab, but he moved well, head movement, feints, a good 1-2, and you just never knew if he was going to throw the 1-2 or go for a takedown. You just didn't know what he was going to do. You just need the most basic of striking. Everything else is extra. You don't have to be like all that spinning stuff like against Brian Barberena. You're not Yair Rodriguez. I just need you to keep your hands up first and foremost, and keep your hands tight.
So Jason, he's 35 years old. He's been knocked out 6 times. He's only 35. He's been knocked out 6 times.
Yeah, I'm going with Josh.
Yeah, I got to go with Josh on this, man. If he was fighting anybody else, maybe, but Josh.
Yeah.